you know the basic structure of a website, we need to learn about hyperlinks. We talked about earlier this year the World Wide Web and how the web is composed of web pages. And then there are hyperlinks, which take you from one page to the next, that tie all of those pages together. So what is a hyperlink? Well, let's look at some of the language and how to compose hyperlinks on a website. You use the A tag, which is an element that defines the link. So you can look at this code right here that says href equals the web page that you want to link to. Inside of that is going to be the word that you actually want to appear on your website, followed by our closing A tag. So what is this href? You use the href attribute to define the link of the address. So it's telling the browser that this is the link that I want to be taken to when I click on whatever you're putting in between my ahref and my closing A. So YouTube would appear on my website as my link so that I can click on it, and the ahref is going to take me to youtube.com. You use your target attribute to define where to open the link. So if I want my page to open in a new tab, so I'm on this page and I don't want it to just take me to the second page and lose the one that I'm on, I want it to take me to a whole new window, you can add target equals blank and it'll take me to a brand new page. We'll go over some other options that you can use as a target attribute as well. Notice that the rest of this information is the same as before. You have ahref equals defining where you want to be taken. You have the information that you want to show up on your website. So the link would look like visit W3 Schools and our closing A tag. Next one, the img element is our image element. We've been using this already, and you can actually use an image as a link. So here's our example. We'll talk about this more in detail in a minute or two, but you can see that my img src equals youtube.jpg is going to be on my page. That is the image that is going to show up on my page and act as a button. So if I click on it, it's going to take me to youtube.com. And finally, the use mail to scheme inside of the href attribute is used to create something that opens your email address up. So there's going to be a button on your page. You can click on it and it'll take you to your email account to be able to send an email. So in order to create that type of link that takes you to someone's email, you would write ahref equals mail to : the email address. And then inside, again, you would want to put in whatever you want the page to actually show as your button. That's going to take you to the destination, and your closing A tag. So the HTML link standard format that you're going to see used most of the time is going to look like this. ahref equals the URL, so that's the address that you want to be taken to. It can also be another HTML page. If you have multiple HTML pages in the same folder, you can link them together by putting the HTML actual document name in here. And then again, in the middle is going to be whatever you want to show up on your website, followed by your closing A tag. So the most important attributes of the A element is the href element or attribute, which indicates the link's destination. The link text is the part that will be visible to the reader. So again, the part that's going to be on the website, the part you can actually see. And clicking on the link text will send the reader to the specified URL address, which again in blue right here is that URL address. Whatever this is saying on your page, if you click it, it'll take you to that link because of the ahref attributes. So here's an example, if you'd like to try it out, that's showing you that it can have the text of visit w3schools.com on your page, and this, by clicking on it, would take you to w3schools.com. So if you click on the link, try it here, it'll show you exactly what this code would look like on a web page, and if I was to click on this link, it will then take me to that page that it is showing me here, the w3schools.com just home page. So some defaults that you should know, because we are going to learn style on our website to make everything look nice and organized and not just black and white text on our page. So you want to think about some of the defaults that it's going to give you, especially with links. So standardly, if I write out a link on my page like this, whatever the link is, it's going to show up as blue and underlined. And you can change that later in your CSS, but that is the standard that it's going to give you for a link. Once you have visited a link, your browser remembers that you went to that link, and it's going to then show you on that page, if you go back to it, that it is now purple and underlined. And finally, there's something that's called an active link. These are used when maybe somebody emails you something and it's something you're intended to go to right away. It underlines it and is in red. So here's an example of an active link. So if I had sent an email, this would be my active link. You can see when I hover over the top of it, it shows that it is red and underlined. And if I click on it, it would take me to the page that they intended. Next, we have target attributes. So we started talking about the target attributes of blank, which will take you to a blank page. So you can see that the text written out, our code for this, is the same as we've been using. Ahref equals the web address, the URL. And then inside of that same opening tag, we're adding in target equals and then one of the following, depending on what you want it to do. So on this one, if I click on Visit W3 Schools, it's going to open up a new window with the W3 Schools homepage. So you can again click on the Try It. And now instead of clicking on it and it just opening here, it should open in a new tab. Okay, you can see it opened a new tab here at the top of my browser. So our other options are Self, which is the default. It opens the document in the same window, which if you don't put anything at all, it's going to do that anyways for you. Blank, which is going to open it in a new window or tab like we just did. We have Parent, which opens a document in the parent frame, which we'll learn more about parents and children later when we get into a little bit more advanced coding. And then Top, it opens the document in the full body of the window. So those are your options. Really, Self, again, you don't need to add because it's automatically going to do that, but Blank is a good option that will take you to a blank window, a new window up at the top of the page so that you can still go back to your original page. Some more uses for links. Images can be links, kind of mentioned this before, but if you don't want text to appear on your page and instead you want an image to be there, so you click on the image and that takes you to your new page, all you have to do is switch out that text that is inside of our normal HTML setup for the link and switch it out with this image. So you can see everything is exactly the same as you saw before. Ahref equals the web address, you're closing A, but inside of here, instead of text, I now have inserted an image, which we've done before. It's written as img src equals the name of the image. And then you always want to give it an alternative name, especially if it's a link. A link is probably important on your website. So this alternative text will appear on your website if for some reason your image won't show up. And in our case, using liveweave.com, unless we download it and put the image in our folder, we're going to be getting this alternative text message anytime that we insert an image using that program. So if you click Try It for this one, you can see that there is now an image of the smiley face, so the smiley image. And if I click on that, that is going to be now my link that takes me back to my homepage of the W3 Schools. Okay, getting into more detail about linking an email address on your page. You use the mail to inside of the href attribute to create a link that opens the user's email information. So it's written as Ahref equals, and now instead of a URL address, we're writing mail to : with the email address. Send email is optional. You can write whatever you want here. Just know that when you click it, it's going to open up that email option. And then we want our closing A tag always. If I click on Try It, again, you can see the exact code we just saw on that last page here with the mail to : and if I click on Send Email, it's now going to open up my email and have the example email address that I saw here, so I can directly email them without having to copy and paste their email address or anything else. Buttons as links. So this is a little bit more advanced. Again, those of you who end up getting ahead on your assignments, you are more than welcome to try doing some JavaScript. There's a great course on codecademy.com like we started to use for our HTML lessons. So you can definitely add that into your web pages. But the JavaScript is going to allow you to have an active button where you can click on the button, it actually interacts with you and is going to take you to another page. So just so you can see this, under Try This, you can see the button here. We can create very similar effects without Java, and I will show you how to do that to create a button. But it's written as button on click equals document.location equals default.asp, and then inside of there, whatever you want to appear in your button and your closing button. Again, more advanced than what we're doing this year in our Intro to Web Design or Interactive Design course, but if you are interested in learning more of this JavaScript, you are more than welcome to do so. Okay, so in summary, we've learned several tags in this little unit here. So the A tag is the element, it defines the link. The href attribute, it defines the link address, so the URL, it's always href equals with the URL address. The target is going to define where you want your page opened, so if you want it on a new tab, make sure you put it as target equals blank. The img element, which we have used before, is for linking an image. In this case, it's to put an image as the text. Instead of having the text inside to just create a button, you can have an image to click on, like that smiley face example. And finally, the use mail to can be used to actually link to somebody's email address without having to go and copy and paste and put their email address into your Gmail or whatever form that you're using. So you are going to be creating a page that has 5 hyperlinks today. Opening a new document on liveweave.com, you're going to set up a basic website using the following tags. So just like yesterday, or I guess Friday, doc type HTML, our HTML tags to define that it's an HTML document. Your opening and closing head tags inside of your HTML tags. Also inside of that is going to be your body tags. Inside of your body contains at least a footer, a header, and a paragraph, along with step number 3, which is going to be adding 5 links of your choice to your page, as long as they follow the following guidelines below, which are at least one of your links should be use target. Okay, so it can either just be the basic where it stays on the same page, or it can take you to a blank page, or feel free to try one of the others. And then one of your links should go to your email address, so using the mail to option. When you're done, you're going to save this. Make sure that when you save your LiveWeave code, you get those letters and numbers at the end. Make sure you're signed into your account. And then you're going to copy and paste that address onto the assignment hyperlink tutorial on Google Classroom. So here is my now edited with the vignette, and here is my previous design where I just adjusted the levels and curves. Big difference, bringing your eye again to that center there and looking at our focal point, which is the gecko.